and I'm looking for some love. Searching in the clouds tonight, I'm searching for some love. I gotta keep it dancing, I gotta keep it moving, I gotta keep on dancing, gotta keep it moving.
This is unusual for me, to actually clean a car before I rolled it into the garage. I didn't bother cleaning the top, but it wasn't so bad. And that's where it's going, in there. Try to center between the car and the wall. So that's 34 inches. That's 27. So 3.5 inches towards the wall. Before I jack the car up, I want to make sure that these spinners are all loose. The inner portion of this wheel assembly, the one that has the spline and the male thread, is bolted to the hub, and if I don't loosen these before I jack it up, when I beat on this, it's just going to rotate. So I've looked closely at the face of the spinner, and up here it has an arrow pointing in the counterclockwise direction that says on, and then down here in the clockwise direction it has one that says off. So I'm going to hit this in the counterclockwise, protecting the end of the spinner with this piece of wood. Until the wood dies. Now, as far as I can tell, this car didn't come with its brass mallet. I didn't see it in any of the places in here. I had a brass mallet, but it's smaller, and I need a little more weight to fight. Who knows how long these spinners have been on. All right, I'm going to finish getting this one loose, get the other three, and then I'll bring you back when the car is off the ground. this is what the hub adapter for the Kelsey Hayes wheel looks like. There's either some driven going on with these two ribs or with these points. Flip over a wheel and see what it looks like. But yeah, it's these 4 lug nuts that hold the hub adapter onto the drum. So with the hub off, or the hub adapter, it looks just like a normal early model Corvair drum. This is the front, so I can put the lug nuts back on to hold them because the studs are attached to the drum. To remove the drum, I'm going to pull the dust cover, undo the retaining nut, pull the washer out, and the drum will just come off. That's different than the rear. On the rear, yeah, the nuts are in the way of removing the drum. The drum sits against the flange on the end of the axle, and the bearing is inboard slightly, and all 4 corners will get their bearings cleaned and repacked. These rear ones are a bit trickier, but I will show you how to do that when I get to it. Next thing I'd like to do is remove the gas tank for a couple reasons. First of all, after I check and make sure there's no gas in it, I'll remove it. But I want to clean it and coat it, preserve it from the ethanol-laden gas that we're dealing with now. The other thing I want to do is on top of the gas tank, underneath this part of the floor of the trunk, is the brake line that feeds the passenger front wheel. I want to get a good look at that and see the kind of condition it's in. If I have to replace it, I'll need to have the tank out in order to replace it. So some of the first steps in removing the gas tank, like I said, is to make sure it's empty. Again, this car has sat for many years, but it will, fuel doesn't all evaporate, and it's easier to see from underneath some of the hoses that will get cut. Yeah, I'm already getting a whiff of the varnish in there, so I'll stick a stick down there and see if I can figure out how much fuel is in there. Stuck a hose down there and pulled it out, and it just seemed like the bottom, maybe 3/4 of an inch or so, was wet. I tried to siphon some out. I have a hand pump over there, that red thing, with some tubing, and I wasn't getting anything out, so I'm thinking that we're okay. So I will go underneath and show you what the underside looks like, where the sender is, where the outlet for the fuel is at the bottom of the fuel tank. I will familiarize you with the underside here. We're at the front looking towards the rear. This is the so-called tunnel. The fuel line will run down in that tunnel. I don't know if Dick did this, the guy I got the car from, or the person he bought it from, whether they added this filter. It all looks like the gas tank has been coated. I think what I'll do is put a bore scope down, although I did mention wanting to take a look at the brake line. Maybe I can look at that with the bore scope as well. Try to sneak something in between the fuel tank and the firewall. All right, that's about the best I can do for zooming in on the bore scope frame screen. So there's some liquid down in there. hard. I mean, to my eye, it looks like it's a little rusty. So I guess the thing to do would be to empty it. I want to get that old stuff out of there anyway, and then take a look from the bottom. So that is the outlet from the fuel tank. That tube is what takes the fuel. It's being sucked by the mechanical pump in the engine, attached to the engine. That is the power lead to the sender. That's the ground for the sender. I'm going to disconnect the hose at the fuel filter and drain it into the pan. I'll have a spare pan in case there's more in there than I had expected. Hardly any flowed out of there. That could mean one of two things. Either there wasn't nearly as much in the tank as I thought, or the sock which filters is all clogged and there's more in there. But we'll find out as soon as we remove the ring and the sender. There it is. That's the inside of the gas tank. That's the top up there, and it doesn't look too clean. And then there's like some stringy stuff dangling. I don't know what's up with that. May have been that they were leaks that got plugged in the top. We'll see. And how does the bottom look? Not so bad. But I think the tank's got to come out. We've got to take a look at that top, and we want to clean it out and coat it. There's a better look at the fuel tank sender. I'm pretty sure there's a replacement around here, and I think it's called for. In order to remove the tank, I've got to remove the anti-sway bar, so I'll be spraying these threaded joints down with PB Blaster, and I may have to relocate the Jackstands to give me some more clearance. Maybe not. Maybe I'm far enough behind. And then there are two J hooks, one on this side and one on that side, that hold the strap that is what actually holds the tank in place. With the strap out of the way, I dropped that side first and drained what little there was left out of the tank, and then removed this J-hook connection. Got the strap out of the way. Then I jockeyed it so that that passenger side is up. This side is as low as it can go, and you can see back where my finger was pointing that there is a hose that connects the end to the tube, which is coming from the wheel well to a tube off the tank. So I got a straight shot at that clamp screw. I'll remove that. That should free up the main filler hose. There is another one kind of in behind it, and I'll deal with that after I deal with the main one. So I was able to drop this part of the tank completely out. I did release that end from up in the inside of the fender wheel well. So with this all exposed, should be able to get in there and remove all the hose connections, and then that will completely free the fuel tank. So these hoses look and feel relatively new. So I think that Dick probably had dealt with the gas tank, put some gas in it, but didn't go any further. Just carrying this out, I can feel and hear like rusty stuff swishing around. So this is open in the sun. Hopefully we'll get some more evaporation.
Fall, I'm looking for some love, so gotta keep it dancing.